Things just took a major turn. At about 10 a.m. Eastern time today, November the 11th, Nico Harrison was fired. That's exciting. Like, you're going to see kind of how I'm feeling, like how I'm processing this whole thing throughout today's episode. But the teaser about that, I don't think that firing Nico is going to solve all of our problems. Like, in fact, I'm fully prepared to record for a couple of hours and talk through all of our problems today. I'm going to try and limit it to like a 15-minute episode, because I know you don't want to listen to me rant for that long. But my name is Ethan, the advisor Clayton. Welcome to the party. This party is a little bit more fun than the other parties we've had this season. On the tail of losses that we shouldn't have. Having one of the worst offenses in NBA history. This party today, we can celebrate for a little bit because a step in the right direction was made, right? Like I put it that way. It was just a step. It is not the be all end all, but this is your Mavs, a Dallas Mavericks podcast where all are welcome, but y'all better behave. And specifically when I say y'all better behave, I'm talking about the Mavs fans that were at the AAC last night. Listen, I am 100% with you that Nico needed to be fired. It was an inevitability. Too big of a chasm had been created between the fans and the front office. Even the city of Dallas just suffered greatly as a result of, the worst trade in sports history. But listen, this is going to be my quick rant, and then I'm going to talk actual basketball stuff. For y'all to be chanting fire Nico when our guy PJ Washington is at the free throw line in a tight fourth quarter game with the Milwaukee Bucks, that is not the time. That ain't it. I thought it was ugly. I thought it was classless. And I'm not here for that brand of fandom. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. I'm just choosing. You're not going to see me act ugly like that. Y'all behave, please. Right? Because for reasons that we're going to dive into in this episode, I think, again, this doesn't fix everything. That toxicity is still going to exist because if we continue losing games, which we have reason to think that that's going to continue happening, what's the next chant going to be? Is it going to be fire Kid? Is it going to be fire Finley because he took a beer out of Luka's hand last year or a couple of years ago when we were celebrating the Western Conference Finals? I don't know. I think it's time to grow up. It's time to quit making things so personal. But listen, here's a couple of reasons why I don't think that firing Nico is the be all end all. One, I talked about the fan toxicity. Fans have every right in the world to be angry about what happened last season. Like, not just with the Luka trade, but with the Quentin Grimes trade and all of the injuries that happened. It just seemed like our franchise was and is cursed in that regard. One human being does not do all of that. Okay. Point 1B within that, within the fan toxicity. I think you're going to start to see where all of this comes together. The disenfranchisement that Mavs fans have experienced really had a lot to do with not only the Luka trade, but the continual disaster that took place on the court, where we saw so many injuries that there was a window of time where it was likely that we were going to have to forfeit games because we simply did not have enough players active to field a roster. We were in dire straits. That's going to keep happening if we don't make a big change on the medical staff problem. Now, if you'll remember last year, we had that 3 quarters of a game that AD made his Mavericks debut, and we were crushing it, right? But it was later reported that AD was not 100% whenever he took the court that day, right? And so guess what? He re-aggravated that injury, and then he was out another 6 weeks after that. Then there was the whole Derek Lively thing, where it was like an ankle thing, and then he came back too early, and then it turned into a bone spur, and he had to have that surgically repaired this summer. That's just going to keep happening over and over until we fix the medical staff problem. Now, to be fair, We did hire a new athletic training director last week. That's got me a little bit terrified for a separate reason. You look at the resume, they've been a part of the New Orleans Pelicans franchise. They've been a part of the Brooklyn Nets franchises that like are known for having a lot of injuries, right? I don't know if you're super aware of who Dyson Daniels is. He started his career at New Orleans and then went to Atlanta Hawks a couple years ago. Whenever he left, he was like, yo, New Orleans is cursed. Okay. Like you've seen so many injuries to Zion, to Lonzo Ball whenever he played there. Guys, there's too many to list off on today's episode. But that doesn't give me just all the confidence in the world that all of a sudden that we're going to be able to manage players properly and not try and play them through injuries. And if you think I'm just grasping at straws here, not even 2 days ago, there was internal arguments about whether or not AD should return from his left calf strain and play in that game against the. I'm old. I don't have the memory recall that I used to. I've already moved on past that. Okay. But listen, there were internal arguments. AD himself wanted to take the court, right? You could probably speculate that he wanted to do that to save Nico's job because tensions were at an all-time high, right? Like the Mavericks aren't necessarily putting their best product on the floor if we don't have our two best players, right? Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. But listen, if you try and play through a left calf strain, you know what the result of that is? Like very likely it turns into a ruptured Achilles, right? All these things are connected. Calf strain, the bilateral Achilles tendinopathy, the hamstring stuff, it's all tied together. So if you try and play through something like that, you run the risk of like the most devastating injury in all of basketball, a ruptured Achilles. So miss me with all of the like, well, we just hired a new medical staff. The people that we fired, that's good. That's all well and good. I'm glad they're not in charge of taking care of our players. But I don't have much confidence when it took Patrick Dumont, a guy who's been super hands-off with the management of this team after assuming ownership. He's been super hands-off because he had trust for Nico. It took Patrick Dumont being like, you know what? No, we're nixing this. AD's not playing for that to not happen. Like, that terrifies me. It doesn't matter if an interim GM or a brand new GM that we hire comes in and makes the perfect trades if our medical staff does not know how to properly manage players, right? If I'm a player, I'm looking at that and like, I don't know if that's the place I want to play. How can I trust that you have my best interest in mind when you are now building a reputation for trying to play guys through injuries? That ain't cash money if you ask me. Now, the other thing I'm going to unpack, man, there's so many things. I'm a little bit triggered today, if you can't tell. I'm glad that the firing happened, right? It needed to happen. I'm glad that Patrick Dumont wrote and said what he said to the Mavs fans. I think he said all of the right things. You know, the old saying goes like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, if you are committed to excellence and you are committed to the Mavericks putting a winning basketball product on the court, then we're going to see some more moves happening, right? Like whether it's, hey, we got to bring in a top shelf A+ cream of the crop type of medical staff. We've got to make sure that our interim GM, Michael Finley, has good relationships with the players. That the image that I cannot get out of my mind. I cannot get it unstuck. The Mavericks rewind to the 23-24 season. We just won the Western Conference Finals. We're getting ready to go to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2011. Luka, who carried us through that series, even with injuries, has a beer. Cracks open a beer. He's got the Western Conference champs hat on. He's with his dad. He's just vibing, having a great time, celebrating as well he should. Then comes Michael Finley. He takes the beer out of Luka Doncic's hands. Yikes. Like, I cannot get past that part of it. Like, that says to me, yeah, maybe there's like a certain level of discipline that has to in mentality, right? Where if we're playing winning basketball, we're not celebrating the Western Conference Finals yet. We're not celebrating shit, you know what, until we win the finals. I think that's toxic, right? And that guy is now our interim GM. I have all the respect in the world for Michael Finley as a player. He was one of the first Mavericks that I really, really loved. But I don't think you're that guy when it comes to general management type of stuff. I don't think you're that guy when it comes to building relationships with superstar players. Because clearly, we screwed the pooch on the Luka Doncic situation. Okay, so no, I don't think firing Nico solves all of our problems. And you know what, guys? The positive thing underneath all the surface today that I think was reported was Mark Cuban. Like, and please don't get triggered at me just mentioning his name. Mark Cuban said, like, we should go get Dennis Lindsey. He should be our general manager moving forward. I agree with that. And I would be like on cloud nine if that's the hire that happens here. If you don't know who Dennis Lindsey is, he has a ton of NBA front office experience, and all of the really good roster moves that Nico Harrison got credit for actually was directed by Dennis Lindsey. And when I say that, Nico was brought in a new regime once the ownership change happened, and Dennis Lindsey was Nico's mentor for that first season. So the first season was the year that we traded for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford at the trade deadline. Things that Mavs fans today will still be like, you know what, that was solid. Really glad we did that. Now, taking a step back from that, the other offer that was on the table at that moment, thank goodness it didn't happen, was instead of making two different trades to get PJ and Daniel Gafford, we would have offered 2 first-round picks and salary fillers for Kyle Kuzma. Okay, really glad that didn't happen. But Dennis Lindsey was the one that brought in the guys that we've grown to love so much and have become franchise cornerstones. That wasn't Nico, right? People could argue that the contract extensions that happened this summer, those were things that I think Nico did that were positive, right? Like the contract extension for Kyrie Irving. Kyrie needs to stick around for a very, very long time. I hope he retires a Dallas Maverick. I hope he fulfills his entire contract with us. Okay. I don't want to hear any of that mess about the Rockets monitoring his situation. Rockets, you don't have cap space. Okay. And we're not going to take an injured Fred VanVleet off your hands just so you can make a title run. No, thank you. But the contract extensions for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford that were very team-friendly extensions. Hey, let's give credit where credit is due. Those were savvy moves by Nico. Those guys are the guys that we want to build around moving forward. And when I say those guys, I mean, obviously, Cooper Flagg. I mean, PJ Washington. Nico was responsible for drafting Derek Lively. Okay, great. Those are the guys that we have to keep no matter what. I would like to keep Daniel Gafford around because of culture reasons and, you know, what we talked about earlier, injuries, right? If we don't have the best medical staff to manage Derek Lively's oft-injured body, then we better have Daniel Gafford around to pick up the pieces, right? I'm not even going to talk about AD in this show. Like, I think I told you like a couple of weeks ago, I'm not even going to entertain Anthony Davis trade ideas until we're at least 10 games into the season. Okay, we're 11 games in, but the news of the day is the Nico firing, and I know I've just kind of been ranting for 13 and a half minutes here. But here's what I am advising all Mavs fans to do. Here's what I am advising the Mavs front office to do. Take a chill pill. Literally. Like, if you're assigning all hope to Nico Harrison being fired and all of a sudden we start winning basketball games, you're going to be bitterly disappointed. Okay. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, you're going to start chanting fire XYZ, right? Like it doesn't matter. If you keep this toxic mentality that all these guys have to answer to us, which they ultimately do because we buy gear, we pay for tickets to go to the American Airlines Center, all of this. Like the way that we went about it was ugly. It was personal. I'm glad it's over. I hope it's over. And to the Mavericks front office, like literally all I want to see is you take ownership of all that you have screwed up over these past couple seasons. I don't want Nico to just be the scapegoat here. if there are still some real problems with the direction of this team, then drain the swamp. Okay, drain the swamp. I'm not talking about the coaching staff. They're all brand new, right? Like, and I'm actually excited about the coaching staff that we have. I'm not excited about the offense that we're running. Okay, maybe we can fix that. But let's take a chill pill. I don't think we're going to come in day one here of a new regime here and see a bunch of trades that fix everything. And now we're suddenly the win now team that Nico promised we would be already, right? Like that's not happening. And Patrick Dumont, for you to say that you are committed to Mavericks excellence and putting a winning product on the floor, I'll believe it when I see it. Okay, that's where I'm at on this today, guys. I want everybody to like take a step back, have a quick reality check. Firing one man is a step in the right direction. It is something that needed to happen. I am glad that it happened. I just don't like all of the mess, all the drama surrounding it. Imagine being a Mavericks player and you're trying to win a close game and a really after a super competitive effort, and all you hear from the fans is the negative stuff, right? Like the American Airlines Center was just ghost silent for most of the game. Like I'm watching on the television, right? I'm not there in person feeling the vibes, but like even the announcers were like, yeah, the energy's kind of off today. And then Klay Thompson hit a couple 3-pointers in a row. Then the energy was up a little bit, but then it died again. And just whenever the players really needed Mavs fans to be engaged and like on their A game, that's whenever all of the negative stuff took over. Like, assign your energy elsewhere. If you're not here to cheer on the Mavs to like a victory, I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan, but I'm like, I'll be honest, I thought that was gross. I didn't like it. Okay. I am hopeful that there will be a change in direction for the team. If I'm the GM and I'm hired day one, I'm announcing like a new exciting vision for winning basketball. And that is not defense wins championships. It is scoring points wins championships, right? Like we're going to put an emphasis on our roster to find playmakers, shot creators, like real distributors, real guards that can put the ball in the hoop. And also guys that have a track record of being healthy. And if they don't have that track record, you know what? That's fine. We have the best medical staff in the NBA to take care of our players and be good stewards of these awesome resources that we have at our disposal. Okay. If you're still sticking around 18 minutes into my rant, thank you. If you felt like I came down too hard on Mavs fans, let me know about it in the comment section. Like like I said, I'm having a hard time processing all that happened today. Not because I don't think that it's good or a step in the right direction, but something else I didn't say earlier. Like Shams Charania reported that like all of the front office, including and Jason Kidd, were in alignment about the Luka Doncic trade. Okay, so no, firing one person does not fix that. Firing one person does not change the toxic culture that we're seeing within our fan base right now. Firing one person does not put a winning basketball product on the court. Firing one person does not all of a sudden make us good shooters as a team, okay? So slow your roll, take it one step at a time. I'm excited about what trades could happen. And tomorrow's episode, we'll pick back up with some trade ideas. And like I said earlier, we are now 11 games into the season. I will start to entertain and throw out some Anthony Davis trade ideas. Not because I'm an AD hater. That's another thing, y'all. Chill out on AD. This ain't his fault, okay? Or at least as far as I know, we don't have an FBI investigation going on in the Mavericks franchise as far as I'm aware, right? As far as like maybe he threw the games or he faked an injury. Like we don't have any of that right now. So like ease up. If we want to have a winning product, we have to believe in the players that we currently do have. Treat everybody with respect. That's kind of just an in general rule, whether or not you like your general manager or not. But again, I'm not here to tell you how to be a fan. I'm just telling you how I see things. And what I saw last night was ugly. I loved the fight that this team showed on the court. And really, if it wasn't for a blown call by the ref, and I'm going to say it, like, I mean, Cooper Flagg didn't need to sell it like he did, but Kuzma was holding on to his jersey. That is a foul that would be 2 automatic free throws, right? Like that's point blank. We could have won that game, and we should have won that game. And as angry as I was with the franchise and with the general manager and the trade going into that game, I still rooted for the Mavs to win, and I will always root for the Mavs to win. That's all I'm going to say today. Thank you for stopping by, and y'all be good, please. I'll see you around.